Kyle Vishal Bhagavan Bhagavad Charles and AC. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Go Saint Anji. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Buddhade. Shimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nijinamini. Namaste Saraswata Devi Gaura Vani Pachalane. Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastata Desha Tarani. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So when we come to a temple, we come to worship the Supreme Lord.
私たちがお寺に来るときには、思考主を伝えるために来ています。
And people will ask, so who is the Supreme Lord?
そして人々はどなたが思考主であるかと。
And different religions will give you different answers.
でも、いろんな宗教は様々な答えを私たちにくれます。
Many religions, of course, say there is only one God.
多くの宗教が、そして、神は一人であると伝えています。
Some religions say there are many gods.
ある宗教では神様はたくさんいらっしゃると言っています。
However, if we talk about God, the usual definition is there's no one superior to him.
私たちが神のことを定義するときには、その神よりももっと優れた人いない、そう定義しています。
So in India, when people inquire about God, many people will say, well, we have many gods.
インドではいろいろと受けるわけなんですけれども、インドの方ではたくさん神様がいると皆さんおっしゃいます。
However, if we look at the scriptures of India, that is the Vedic literature, Vedas, Puranas, Bhagavad Gita, etc., we will see that these scriptures also say there is one God.
でも、いろいろな経典を見たり、プラーナとか、ベーダとか、それから、バガットギータとか、そのような経典を見ると、一人しか神様がいらっしゃらないと、私たちに教えています。
And many of these forms that people worship in India actually are not supreme. They're like servants of God.
そしてまた、インドでたくさんの神様が生まれているわけなんですけれども、その神様は、もう一人、もっと優れた神様を礼拝しています。
Another problem when it comes to talk about God is that many religions don't even accept that God can have a form.
そして、いろいろ宗教ありますけれども、多くの宗教で神様には姿があると、そう言っていません。
However, if we look at Bhagavad Gita and other scriptures, we'll see that yes, God does have a form.
でも、バガバットギーターとかいろいろな経典を見ると、神様には姿があると教えています。
In fact, the Vedic religion is maybe the only religion in the world that does accept a form of one supreme God.
そして、インドでいろいろ経典があるんですけれども、私たちが受け入れるその神様というのは一人であって、その神様には姿があると言っています。
However, not only do the Vedic literatures tell us God has a form, but they also say God can have many forms.
そしてまた神には姿があると言ってますけれども、いろいろなお姿を持っているとも伝えています。
So this is also something quite unique in this world.
でもこの世界ではこのような教えというのはとてもユニークであると思われます。
Not only God can have many forms, many extremely different forms.
そしていろいろな姿がある。それだけではなくて、いろいろな形の違う姿があるとも教えています。
So God can have a human-like form.
で、神には人間みたいなお姿はあるとも教え
But
て
he can have form of a lion, he can have the form of a horse, the form of a snake, the form of a turtle, form of a boar.
でも神様には、そのライオンとか、それからヘビとか、カメとか、もう一つ言ったね。熊
Horse, horse.
熊、そんな形、姿、神様はいるかもしれない。
And these, of course, are described in the Srimad Bhagavatam.
それは知らなかったためでも伝えられています。
So we have one God who could have many forms, but all these forms are spiritual, not material.
神様はお一人で、そしていろいろな ます。
Krishna appreciates Radharani as the greatest.
ラダラにも最も素晴らしいことで、
But because he cannot really
しかし、クリシュナは、そのラダラのいい、する
as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he takes the form with the mood of Radha, so he can appreciate the mood of Radha.
ここでクリシュナは、タイタニアに現れて、そのラダの気持ちで現れてきましたから、クリシュナはそこで、
So Radha, of course, appreciates Krishna with all of his wonderful qualities.
そして、ラーダーはもちろん、クリシュナのその素晴らしい性質というものを理解して、
But Krishna himself wonders, what does he really appreciate?
しかし、クリシュナは、どうしてそういうことがわかるのかということも、不思議に思っていらっしゃいます。
So, in order to understand what qualities in Krishna Radha appreciates, then he takes the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and acts with the mood of Radha.
クリシュナはそのラーダーがどうしてそのようなその気持ちを持っているのか、それを分かるために、クリシュナはそのラーダーの気持ちを持って、現れてくださった。
And a third reason is that Krishna cannot understand the great joy that Radha feels for Krishna.
で、3つ目の理由としては、ラーダーがクリシュナに対して見せたそのものすごいその喜びというものをクリシュナが理解できなかった。
So therefore, he appears as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and with the mood of Radha to appreciate Radha's joy.
ですから、クリシュナはラーダーの気持ちでもって、チャイタニアマハプラブとして現れて、そして、彼はラーダーの気持ちを分かることができるようになりました。
And thus, Krishna appears as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with the mood of Radha.
ですから、クリシュナはラーダーの気持ちでもって現れてください。
This, of course, is a very internal reason for Lord Chaitanya appearing.
これには、チャイタニアが現れてくださったのには、内的な理由がある。
Okay. So, when we think of Supreme Lord, we think of one person.
私たちが思考者を考えるときには、私たちが一人の人。
When we think of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we should think of him as non-different from Krishna.
そして、私たちがチャイタニアマハプラブのことを考えるときは、彼はクリシュナとは変わらないということ。
But he takes on the mood of Radha, so actually he's a combination of Radha and.
彼はその時はラーダーの気持ちと一緒にいらっしゃいますから、私たちは、チャイタニアマハプラブはラーダーとクリシュナが別としたものである。
So he's actually Krishna, but he has the mood of Radha.
ですから、チャイタニアマハプラブは実際には一人けれども、気持ちはラーダーの気持ちを持つ。
And because of that feeling of Radha, instead of being blue, he turns golden like Radha.
ですから、彼はラーダーの気持ちを持っていらっしゃるので、青ではなくて、ゴールド、黄色の色を持っている。
So another name for Krishna is Gauranga.
ですから、もう一つのクリシュナの名前はゴーランガ。
Gaura means golden.
ゴーランは色で言えば黄色。
So he is famous for being golden in complexion.
ですから、彼は黄色の肌をしているということで有名。
So he's Krishna with the mood of Radha, and he becomes golden.
ですから彼はラーダの気持ちで現れてきましたら、黄金色の肌色を持っている。
It is said in the scriptures that actually the Lord appears in 3 yugas, even though there are 4 yugas. So in Kali Yuga, the Lord does not appear.
で、クリシュナは神 クリシュナは3つのユガで現れると言われているんですけども、実際にはユガが4つありますけれども、カリユガではクリシュナは現れます。
Therefore, he's called Tree Yuga. He appears in three yugas.
ですから、彼はクリユガ。
So then, what happens in Kali Yuga?
では、カリユガでは何が起こる？
But usually, it is said that the Lord does not directly appear. A jiva with special powers appears. It's called a Shaktavesh avatar. Shaktavesh avatar appears.
カクタベシャアバターが現れて、
So this is actually a jiva, a regular person like us, but with special powers.
でそれはチーバー、私たちと同じような人。そして、特別な力を持つ。
For instance, Narada Muni is also a jiva with special powers. He's called an avatar, but a Shaktavesh avatar.
ナイラドムニも同じようにチーバーに。同じように、シャクタベシャアバターのですから、力を持つ。
So, Krishna himself appears in Kali Yuga, so he's not a Shaktavesh avatar when he comes to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but he hides his nature as the Supreme Lord. So he doesn't kill demons.
クリシュナがカリユガでは、シャクタベシャアバターで現れてくださっていませんけれども、彼はそのご自分のその立場というのを隠されている。
So therefore, he is said to be Channa in Kali Yuga, which means covered or hidden.
ですから、チャンナという言葉で、それは覆われている、あるいは隠されているという意味が。
Covered. So it's called Channa avatar, which means he acts more like a human being.
そのチャンナアバターというのは、もっと人間と似ているというアバター。
We know that Krishna also acts very human-like, but he also kills a lot of demons.
クリシュナは本当に人間のように活動がされますけれども、だけど、たくさん悪夢を殺す。
He also shows universal form.
宇宙体という。
So many people are aware Krishna is Supreme Lord.
ですから、多くの人たちは、クリシュナが指導者である。
But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu hides powers, so he doesn't show great powers.
しかし、チャイタニアマハプラブはそのような力を隠されていました。ですから、それを理解することはできます。
And he actually acts as a devotee of the Lord. Devotee.
はい。ちょうどあるように、チャイタニアマハプラブは、
And later on, he took sannyas. He acts like a sannyasi as if he's renouncing the world because he's trying to give up material attachment. So he acts very human-like.
それから、チャイタニアマハプラブはサリアシを取って、すべての大きな成果を受けて、とてもその人間的な。
There are several references to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Srimad Bhagavatam.
シリアバガバタには、チャイタニアマハプラブに関する言及が。
So when Garga Muni comes to give names to Krishna and Balaram, at that time we have this particular verse.
ガルガムニが名前を決めるときに、
He says that in Dwarpa Yuga, that was when Krishna appeared, the source of avatars appears. Krishna.
で、その時に言われたことは、クリシュナがアバターの名前として現れることを書かれている。
And he appears with black color.
で、が黒い色。
And in other yugas, he is white, red, and yellow.
で、他のユガでは白かったり、黄色、赤も。
So the white means Satya Yuga avatar is white. The Treta Yuga avatar is red. Right here. And Kali Yuga avatar is Pita, which means golden in color, yellow. That's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
で、カリユガのアバターは、ゴールド
Yeah. Okay. So later in the Bhagavatam, there is a description of the and then finally there's a description of the Yuga avatar or Kali Yuga. And there it is said that this avatar appears as the same class as Krishna mind. But he's not black. He's the opposite. He is pale in color, which means golden color. Yeah. And instead of having weapons like chakra or shanka, club, etc., he has his associate. So every Yuga avatar has a special type of dharma or a special way of worshiping the Lord. So in Satya Yuga, the white avatar teaches meditation. In Treta Yuga, the Yuga avatar with red teaches Homa, sacrifice. Yep. In Dwarpa Yuga, we have black avatar Krishna, blue avatar Krishna. He teaches worship of the deity. And the avatar Kali Yuga teaches Sankirtan. So Sankirtan means chanting the name of the Lord. So this is what Lord Chaitanya does. He appears with this golden color, but he's same as Krishna, and he teaches now Sankirtan. So not only does Krishna Chaitanya to experience Radha's love, but he comes to teach the Yuga Dharma. Kirtan. Okay. So, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, we find there's a description of Pancha Tattva. Of course, Tattva means two. It also means element. We have the 5 material elements. They are tattvas. It also means principle. So when we say pancha, pancha means 5. So there are 5 principles represented by 5 persons. Of course, make prayer pancha tattva bhaktam Krishna bhakta rupam bhakta vataram bhakta gyam namami bhakti shaktikam. So this is offering respects to Krishna, whose non-different features as the devotee, bhakta rupa, devotee incarnation, sarupa, devotee manifestation, bhakta avatara, pure devotee, bhakta, and bhakti shakti, the energy of the Lord.
So who are these? We have, of course, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is Supreme Lord, taking the form of a devotee. So then the Lord, of course, can have many forms. He expands. So the first form of expansion is Nityananda Prabhu, first expansion. The Lord also expands to create the material world as these Purusha avatars like Mahavishnu. So Advaita Acharya is Mahavishnu. And who was the devotee, the Jiva Tattva? That is Srivas Pandit. And who's the Shakti? That is Gadadhar. Okay, so in this way we have 5 persons, including Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, representing Supreme Lord, his expansion, Purusha avatar to create the material world, the Jiva, and Shakti. So, of course, Krishna in Goloka appears with Radha, and also with Balaram, and then Balaram expands into Mahavishnu, creates the material world, and then within the material world, we have especially among Jivas like Shaktavatavata. Yeah. So Radha and Krishna are Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Gadadhar. Balaram is Nityananda. Mahavishnu is Advaita Acharya. Chakravarti Narada Muni is Srivas Pandit. So, just as Krishna and Balaram are brothers in Vrindavan, and they display friendly relationship, Sakyarasa, so Nityananda and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu display Sakyarasa, friendship. We see in the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita that Nityananda and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are often joking with each other. That's because they have a very friendly relationship. So, the Lord Chaitanya appears in Kali Yuga, and Krishna appears in Dwapara Yuga. But when Lord Chaitanya appears, he also appears with associates who were also in Lord Krishna's pastime. An example of the friendly relationship between Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya is the festival of Tattva.
有効的で、なんか、Yeah.
Yeah. So there, Nityananda is present, and he said, "Well, I'm in the community of cowherd boys." So all of the people around him are also cowherds.
で、そこでニティアナンダは、私はその、牛飼いのメンバー。だからここにいる人たちはみんな牛飼いだ。
So we see in Krishna's pastimes, Krishna and Balaram go up the forest with all the cowherd boys, and then they eat together. They eat their lunch on the bank of the Yamuna.
私たちはここで見ているのは、クリシナとそれからそのバララとアビナがどうするのか。で、少年たちが
So Nityananda came with all of his associates to Paniyati on the bank of the Ganga, and then he decided to have a similar type of meal with all of his associates.
で、ニティアナンダがそのハミハティと呼ばれているその交際者の、王様に当たるような人なんですけれども、ここでみんな一緒に下の少年として食べたような
Lord Chaitanya wasn't there, he was in Puri, but Nityananda meditated on all in his mind.
で、ここでそのチャイタニアはいらっしゃらないんですけれども、それは瞑想のプリにいらっしゃるけれども、ニティアナンダは瞑想でもって、その、一緒に
Speaking to him, joking with him, and feeding him also.
ここで冗談を言って、その一緒にご飯を食べて、
This way, that pastime is resembling pastime.
ですから、そのパスタというのは、クリスナが、クリスナが、そのパスタが、
So there is a verse from the Padma Purana that says that Krishna sells himself to the devotee, becomes subservient to his devotee.
で、ここに、パドプターナからの記述があるんですけれども、クリスナは自分のリボーティーとしては、
So all the devotee has to do is offer a tulsi leaf and some water.
そして、その、リボーティーたちは、
Tulsi and water.
ドレスの、あれ、を
And if you offer this to the Lord says, I am yours, I belong to you.
そして、そのを主に捧げて、それは、
So, Advaita Charya, before the appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, was lamenting for the condition of the people in Kali Yuga.
で、その第4巻目の、アドベイターチャーリーの彼はここで、カリユガのことを
So that he does, in order to purify the people of Kali Yuga, the Lord himself would come as Aveta.
ここで彼は、カリユガの人たちは、非常に手がいるので、絶対そのまた手洗っているように思っている。
So then he thought of this verse, I can buy the Lord, I can control him. I'll just offer tulsi leaves and Ganga water. So that's what he did. He began worshiping his deity with Ganga water and tulsi leaves. Lord, you have to come. You have to appear something.
で、その中によって、クリスナがそのいろいろと支配されるわけです。
So Gadadhara Pandit is the Shakti of the Lord, which means Radha.
で、何だっていうのがあるんですけども、それは、ラーダの
But just as Krishna becomes covered as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Radha also is covered, does not really act like Radha in the pastimes with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
チャイタニャマハプラブのファーストタイムでは、クリシュナもラーもされているのです。それは、
So Gadadhar was so attached to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that he followed Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Puri and stayed there for the rest of his life with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
で、ガダーラは、もうチャイタニャマハプラブに非常にずっとその生涯で、チャイタニャマハプラブと一緒に過ごした。
So sometimes there are deities of Gauranga and Gadadhar, just as we have Radha, so Gaura with Gadadhar.
で、私たちがなるとクリスナができあるように、ここには、チャイタニアとガラダと、
So Srivas Panda is a jiva, special jiva, so he's identified as Narada Muni.
で、シーバーキパンディットは、まあ、ジーバーで彼は、ナラダムニ。
So Narada Muni is a power to spread bhakti.
ナラダムニはバクティを広めるための力が与えられています。
And similarly, Srivas Panda is empowered to spread Nam Sankirtan.
シーバーキパンディットも同じように、シャーマンサンキルタンを広めるために力が与えられています。
So, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, describe how Lord Chaitanya would have kirtan in Srivas Panda's house.
ですから、じゃあ、無理したちは、シーバーキパンディットが、どれくらいだったのに、ナムサンキルタンということができたり。
So, inspired by Srivas Panda, Lord Chaitanya began the Sankirtan there.
そこで、シバサパブリットには、あけましたね。マブラブは、関係がない。
And it was in Srivas Panda's house that Lord Chaitanya revealed himself as Supreme Lord to his devotees.
で、そこでシバサパの家で、マブラブの姿をお見せに。
So, we do have in the evening this Arti song where we offer that to the Lord. And we're actually singing about the appearance of Lord Chaitanya as the Supreme Lord in Srivas Panda's house.
で、夕方ですね、なると、シバサパの家で、主が現れてくださったということを、
So that song describes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sitting on a jeweled throne, and all the Devatas are worshiping. Brahma Devatas are worshiping. And Nityananda is on the right hand side, on the left hand is Gadadhar, nearby is Advaita, and Srivas is holding an umbrella.
で、そのリチャーランダが、スパッタが右にいて、それで、アンブレラが、上に、というのが、ここで、
So, Lord Chaitanya does not appear alone. The Supreme Lord comes with his associates.
で、ジャケレは、こう、一人で、いろいろな交際やるともなく、
The Lord Chaitanya had pastimes in Navadvip, so he had those associates there.
から、彼は、いろいろしなかったんですけれども、彼は、交際者と一緒に、
He has his associates in Puri where he stayed for a long.
で、彼はプリにいて、その時には交際者と長く一緒に、
And he has the associates in Vrindavan. He sent certain devotees to Vrindavan.
で、ブリンダーバンにもいらっしゃいましたけれども、そこにはそこで住んだりというか、そうですね。
So, our the followers of Lord Chaitanya have identified the people and devotees in Lord Chaitanya's house with devotees in Krishna's house.
で、その、チャイテニアがデボティであると言われていね、でも、チャイテニアはその、クリスナのそのデボティの、
So we know that Krishna was the son of Yasoda.
で、私たちは知っていますけれども、クリスナは、なんだとヤソーダの、
And grandmother was Parjanya and Parija.
で、おじいさんとおばあさんが、バリジャナとバリジャー。
So we find that in Lord Chaitanya's pastime, father and mother were Jagannath Mitra and others.
で、チャイテニアマハプラブンパスタインでは、お父さんがジャガナッタ、ミスパスタさん
And grandparents are Upendra Mitra and
で、おじいさんと、まあ、
okay. So Balaram was born to Vasudeva Rohini.
で、誰らがその、バスでだと、ロヒニの子供、
So Nityananda, Papa life.
みたいなのが、アヤジャパニートとパルババで生まれる。
So Lord Krishna had a guru, and he was taught by him also the Sattva.
で、彼には、クリスナにはグルがいて、その時のアンディカにウイ。
In Lord Chaitanya's pastime, he got sannyas mantra from Keshavar. So they are the same group.
で、ジャイタナマハプラブ、ケーシャバーバーキーから、いただきました。アンディカにすると、ケーシャバーで、
So in Krishna's pastime, Garga, the sage, gave names to Krishna and Balaram.
で、そのクリスナのパスタイムでは、クリスナとバララの名前を与えているのがある。
So Nilambar Chakravarti, he gave the name to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
で、ニーラバーラチャクタキは、チャイタナマハプラブに、チャイタニアに名前を与え
Okay, so in Vaikuntha, Vishnu has two wives, Lakshmi and Bhudevi.
で、バイクンタでは、ラクシミとブレイと、
In Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, he had two wives, Lakshmi Priya and Vishnu Priya.
で、チャイタニアの時には、ラクシミプリアとビシュニプリアという二人の、
So Balaram married Revati and Varuni. Similarly, Nityananda married Janava and Vasudha.
で、バイラーマンには、レーバーティとバールマンで、ニティアナンドには、ジャフナーバーとバースタがいる。
Okay. So we have Narada Muni. He has a friend called Parvata Muni. So he was bonded to his brother, Sriram Pandit, like Parvata.
で、ライダムーニーがシーバツ管理するので、あれはその、シリバガーの管理することをして、
But we also have some different characters here. So one of the Lord Chaitanya's associates was Murari Gupta, but he is considered to be Hanuman from Ramalila.
で、チャイタネの時にはムラリクプタという人がいますけれども、ムラリクプタは、ハヌマンですと、
And the reason is that Murari Gupta was very devoted to Ramchandra.
で、その理由としては、ムラリクプタは非常にラマチャンドラに変身していたから。
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was always preaching everyone should worship Krishna as Supreme Lord, Radha Krishna, love is the highest. And he told Murari Gupta, you have to worship Krishna.
ですから、その、チャイタネのマハプラプがね、その本は礼拝しなさいと。クリスのラーダを礼拝しなさいと何度も言ってたけども、それは
Our Gupta, when he heard that, became very disturbed. And all night he couldn't sleep. How can I give up worshiping Ramchandra? So the next morning he came to Lord Chaitanya. I cannot follow your order. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu smiled and said, very good. So we have also Haridas Thakur. He was born in a Muslim family, but he became a very great devotee of Chaitanya. So he's considered to be Prahlad, who was also tortured, just like Haridas Thakur was tortured. So in Lord Chaitanya's and Nityananda's pastime, we have these associates. They are identified as cowherd boys in these are the cowherd boys in Krishna's pastime. They were very devoted to Nityananda. We have Veda Vyasa appearing to spread the Vedas, etc. And Vrindavan Das Thakur appeared to write Chaitanya Bhagavat. Brihaspati, of course, is the priest of the Devatas, very, very intelligent. So he appeared as Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, who was very, very learned. Ramananda Roy was a very intimate associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Puri. So he is considered to be a combination of four people. Arjuna, who is the one of the Pandavas. In Vrindavan, there's a cowherd boy called Arjuna. Also considered to be one of the chief gopis, that is Lalita. And also a gopi called Arjuna. So Radha and Krishna, of course, are represented by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Vedanta. And Radha Krishna have their main associate gopis like Lalita, Vitaka. We have 8 principal gopis there. They are identified as great devotees, generally in the pastimes in Puri. We have Lalita as Ramananda Roy, and Vishaka is Tirukamada, both very intimate with Chaitanya.
に立ち上がれたやり方をで、
And in Vrindavan, we have the Goswamis.
ブリンダーバンでは、ゴースワミたちがいます。
So they served Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but they served at a great distance.
チャイタニア・マハプラブには、神様が非常にところから入ってきて、
So they are identified as manjaris, who are gopis, but they serve Radha and Krishna at a little distance.
で、彼らはマンジャーリーであると思われるゴーピンですけれども、その、ラは、こういった関係と
The Rupa Goswami is identified as a manjari, and Sam Goswami as Rati Manjari.
ルーパー・ゴースワミは、ルーパー・マンジャーリーで、サナダナ・ゴースワミはラーディーと、
Rupa Goswami is identified as Vilas Manjari,
ティカ・ゴースワミはリラート・マンジャーリー。
and Raghunath Das as Rasa Manjari.
ラグナダ・ダーサはラーサマンジャーリー。
So in this way, the associates of Lord Chaitanya are all identified generally with associates with Krishna.
ですから、このようなこと全部考えると、クリシュナの、
So as I mentioned, generally, Supreme Lord is one.
で、前も言いましたけれども、一つは一人
But he takes many forms.
でも姿がちゃんと、
And though there are many forms, it's one Supreme Lord.
そして、いろいろなたくさんの姿があるんですけれども、たくさんの思考
However, in those different forms, the Lord will display different amounts of qualities.
で、いろいろなその姿があって、ですけど、別のところでいろいろなその質というものを見せて、
And all the many forms will put Narasimha, Rama, and then finally Krishna at the very top.
で、その全ての姿で、シンプルにって、ラーワンがあって、一番上にクリスナが来る。
So Krishna shows maximum amount of sweet quality.
で、クリシュナはもう本当に淡いその甘い質を見せて、
So this is the conclusion of Srimad Bhagavatam.
で、これがシュナバガバタのための結論であるという。
But as I said, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is identified as Krishna, so he's also on the very top.
で、私はそのメデナのマプラブとクリシュナは同じであると申し上げましたから、メデナのマプラブの一番上だと。
So Krishna's on the top, but then Krishna has various relationships.
クリシュナはどこにいるわけなんですけども、彼はいろいろなこと
So Krishna has a relationship with friends, that's called dasya.
で、クリシュナは友達の関係で、アシャラ
He has friends, so this is called sakyava.
で、友達の関係がサキャ
He has pairs like Yasoda, it's called vatsalyava.
で、なんだとヤソダはサリアラ
And then Krishna has relationships with gopis, it's called Madhurya Rasa.
で、クリシュナはゴーピとの関係で、マドリアラ
So Krishna's at the very top, but then in these relationships, we find that as we proceed upwards, relationship more intense and more blissful.
クリシュナはその一番上にいらっしゃるわけですけれども、いろいろな関係がありますが、その中で一番上のそのマドリアラさが、一番そのインテンスですし、
So, therefore, Krishna experiences the greatest bliss with gopis.
ですから、クリシュナは本当にその一番のその
Okay. So, there are billions of gopis.
で、もう何億人とゴピたちは言われて
But then, at the very top, we have Chandravali,
で、一番上の方にはチャンダバリとラダラン。
So, of course, Madhurya Rasa is most intense, most blissful, but then the relation of Radha and Krishna is the most blissful of it.
で、まあ、ドリエがいろいろありますけれども、その中でも、一番素晴らしいというか、というものが、あだったの。
So this is what Krishna displays in Srimad Bhagavatam.
で、これがシリマバガワタンで、クリシュナがプレゼントしている。
The topmost bliss takes place in the Rasa Lila with the gopis and Radha.
で、その一番いいというのも、もうクリシュナとラーダのその、
So because this is the highest, it's also the most difficult to attain.
ですから、これが一番最高ですから、ここを私たちが達成するっていうのは非常に難しい。
It's the most difficult to understand.
理解するのもとても難しい。
So therefore, Lord Chaitanya appeared to make this love available to everybody.
ですから、チャイタネ・マハプラブがこのカリウガでもってクリシュナとラーダの関係をよく分かるようにしてくださるために現れています。
How does Lord Chaitanya do that? Lord Chaitanya is Krishna. He has the mood of Radha. He's a combination of Radha and Krishna. So he appears in Kali Yuga to deal with this.
クリシュナがカリウガに祝福を与えるためですね。ラーダの気持ちでもってクリシュナが現れてくださって、それは私たちにその、難しいと言われる方を分かるようにしてくださるためにして。
So the main way he does this is through Nam Samti.
で、私たちがそこでやると、
So this is easy way to progress in spiritual life is to do the Dharma, but more than that is the easy way to get Radha.
で、この時代でもってですね、最も一番優しい方法っていうのは、最短が示してくださった方法っていうので、それを理解することが。
So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is said to be the most merciful of the Tattva.
ですから、こういう理由があって、チャイタニマハプラブは、とっても慈悲深い、最も慈悲深いと言われます。
So Lord Chaitanya taught this particular combination of names.
チャイタニマは、この名前のその、そのものを教えてくれます。
So why Hare? Because this means Radha.
ハレ、それは、ラーダという意味がある。
We take the mercy of Radha, through the mercy of Radha, we get the mercy of.
私たちはラーダの慈悲を受けて、そしてその慈悲でもって私たちはクリスナの慈悲を得ることができる。
So we call it to Radha, we call it to Krishna.
だから私たちはラーダを呼んで、そしてクリスナを呼んでいます。
So then Krishna says, what do you want?
クリスナはおっしゃいます。何が欲しい？
So what do we ask for?
で、私たちは何を
What do we want?
何が欲しい？
We also call it to Rama, but we call it Krishna who gives enjoyment to Rama.
で、ラーダの呼び、クリスナとも、それからラーダを喜ばせる。
Okay? So we're not asking for material benediction. We're not asking for liberation. We're asking simply for service.
で、私たちは物質的なことを、願うというか、それを、取り立てて、
So in this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has appeared in Kali Yuga to give us the highest treasure of all, love of Radha.
このようにして、チャイタニマハプラブがで、
Hare Krishna. So, a lot of the identities are with Krishna and Vrindavan.
で、多くのその認識っていうのはブリンダーバンによってできた。
Particularly with the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya and with
で、チャイタニアではナバドビーカー。
when we have the pastimes of Puri, then we do see there are some associates more from Pork, Leela, whatever, because we have the Pandavas, whatever.
で、プリでもってがそのいろいろブリンダーバンもあるので、パンダとかそういう関係も。
So of course, the relationship of Vasudeva and Devaki is with Krishna is also Vatsalya.
で、そのデバキとその、バスデーさんのそのクリスの関係や二人があって。
But it's mixed with awareness of Krishna being the Supreme Lord.
でも、それにはクリシュナがあるという、そのことを分かっているのと、そのバスレディーがミックス。
So it's much weaker than the Vatsalya of Nanda and Yasoda.
だから、ナンダとヤソーダのバスレディーを考えると、バスとバスレディーのバスが弱いと思います。
So in the pastimes of Navadvip, all the people, also all the devotees there, are also not aware of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Supreme Lord.
そしてその長旅からの関係でもって、
They're not aware that he's Supreme Lord, or Chaitanya Supreme.
で、シュチャイタニアが、少しある。
Puri, there is some of it.
ナシャドビーパーでは、少しあるとは、でも、プリでは、少し、
Maharaj, in Kalyug, what is the real definition of detachment? Because, like you told about, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a sannyasi, and you talked about the detachment too. But he used to send Jagadnanda Pandit to his mother Sachi Devi to take care of her very quite often. So, but in Kalyug, it is considered as an attachment.
The Lord Chaitanya was acting as a sannyasi, so therefore, generally, he chose the path. At the same time, within Bhakti in general, and in Lord Chaitanya's movement, detachment is not the ultimate principle. And in Nectar Devotion, the Rupa Goswami says, too much detachment also is not favorable for Bhakti. So the main principle is attachment to Krishna. The more we're attached to Krishna, the less we're attached to anything. And at the same time, do not artificially renounce things.
で、それと同時に、具体的に、いろんなものを、
If we can engage things in devotional service, we use them.
いろんなものをもしクリシュナの教えに使え、それができれば、クリシュナに使う。
So, though we are detached from things materially, if we see there's a chance to engage people and things in devotional service, then we do that.
そうは、けど、ものを教えに使えるだけで使う。
Yeah, I have one question. There are a lot of people like us, we greet with Hare Krishna as we greet, like, meet everyone. There are some people who greet with Radhe Radhe. As you said that if we call Radha Ji, we also calling Krishna Ji. Then why we are not greeting Radhe Radhe?
で、普通はね、天神者たちが、こういう時ね、ハレクリシュナって言うんです。でも、ラデラデと、この先ほどのパワーで私、学んでいる。で、感情
One says any name of the Lord is wonderful to him.
で、ある意味で、こんな名前でも、
But we also follow Sampradaya.
でも私たちして、
So we follow after Lord Chaitanya and later devotees.
で、その中で私たちを、
And generally they chant Hare Krishna.
で、は、
Maharaj, what was the reason of Hare Krishna mantra, including Radha's name and putting Hare there? So the meaning.
なんで、ハレクリシュナの枕で、
Well, there is again, like you can see in the Bhagavad. Radhe Sham, Sham Sham, Radhe Radhe, they say. So they do that. But Lord Chaitanya introduced this, and he introduced this particularly because it's found in Upanishad, which is Vedic scripture.
で、それのマークがハレクリシュナを使ったということと、一緒に
So
回って、
In fact,
なんか、で、
So it's the name, but also it has what Vedic Praman to it. So it has more authority.
前ですけど、